A very common question I come across from the twin flame chaser is that why the runner ghosts or runs away or maybe shuts down and just ignores the chaser when there is an argument, when things become more heated, or maybe from the chaser's perspective, he or she is just trying to explain something that is truly distressing, maybe about work or something. And in this video, I really want to share the true reason behind it, because in order to truly understand why it happens, you have to be able to be both. And this is exactly what I have. I have this experience. So in the beginning of my life, I was a runner type. That's an avoidant. And later on, during my 30s, I became the chaser type, which is the anxious preoccupied. And this is where I had my Kundalini awakening. And now I am back to this avoidant type of person. And the reason behind it, where I say that I became this or that, it's that you have two major part of your basic nervous system. This is your vagus nerve. And there is a vagus nerve at the back of the body, and there is a vagus nerve on the front of the body. This one goes up to your head, and your head decides what that impulse is and interprets it and becomes your feeling. And this is what is in your body. And the chaser is going to be more connected to the back, the one-on-one experiences, and they become more impulsive, easier. They express their emotions easier. You can imagine a more childlike person. Childlike in terms of they are very loving, but they can be very angry. So they are more connected to the emotions. And then you can imagine a more social type of person who is able to repress the emotional part and is able to say what you want to hear. So this is the big difference in between the two in general, but there is a deeper part to it that you can only understand when you feel how differently these feel. Because in reality, the problem is that when you become connected to one and you remain there, you cannot even imagine how the other feels like. And even when you move from one to the other one, you forget how this one was. So in reality, you can truly compare internally, analyze these when you move back. And this is exactly what I can tell you, because this is the exact experience I had, and I have your answer. So when you are connected to this part of the body, the back of the body, from other people's perspective, you are a more negative person. You complain a lot. You express a lot of negative emotions. And in reality, we have more negative emotions and more, I would say, more often negative memories, because this is what we generally remember that is really out of the scope, that something was really bad. You don't remember as easily that during the day 10 hours were relatively nice. If one thing happens that is negative, that is the weary thing that really remains within you. And the reason for this is that this is the part that is connected to the limbic system, the limbic part of the brain that is responsible for your memories. So this stores your memories, and we remember negative ones easier, to be honest, because these are the ones you have to remember in order to predict, and in order to be able from these memories to predict what can go wrong. So this is a survival type of memory. And these are the people who are connected again to the back of the body. And when someone else is angry, they feel finally someone else is true. You are authentic. You express how you feel. And this is something that they cannot really understand, why the runner type of person cannot cope with it. But in reality, when you are connected to this front part, because these are connected to your theta brainwaves, which are very deep, this one is alpha. This is lighter. you are on the front of the body and you become hypersensitive to this, hypersensitive to anger. So the other person doesn't even have to be extremely angry. You can feel them very, very easily. And very thing you are going to experience if you are the runner, I want to go away from you. But in reality, they just want to go away from these very uncomfortable energies that are in the chaser when they are angry. And maybe the anger is not about the relationship. Maybe they just express what happened during the day and what challenges they experience. And this is where you see this duality between the two. I would say, talked about in my previous video, why the runner doesn't open up. They don't see these negative parts. They don't want to see these negative parts in their life. They want to see the positive ones. They are more, I would say, they force themselves more to the future type of thinking as well, that okay, this was bad but it's going to be good. So this type of people usually talk about the future. This is how it's going to be and it's all great and it's all fantastic. And the run or the chaser is going to be this, okay, this is what happened in the past. So they are a very, very past, and I would say more negative experience type of people. So this is where you can see the duality. And from the chaser's perspective, the runner is not authentic. They cannot really open up. But from the runner's perspective, the chaser is too easily, I would say, share everything. It's just too much and it's too negative. They don't see the future, the positive future mindset that they possess. And this is how this duality exists in two people. But what you truly represent, it's a nervous system that we all have. And one of you is overly dominant in one part and the other one is overly dominant in another one. And in reality, what your, I would say, spiritual path tries to show you, it's that you would need both, that you are in the healthy middle. But in order to get there, you have to experience both, because that's the only way to understand others, that you remember that, okay, I used to be like that and I understand why this person behaves that way. And you understand that the chaser doesn't feel when the other person is so angry, and even when he or she feels it, they want to help. That's what they experience, that when you are under stress, I'm going to help you, I'm going to soothe you, I want to help you through the situation so you wouldn't suffer. But the runner is different. They cannot cope with it because they cannot cope with this part within themselves. So what they do, they repress, they go away, they ignore. So this is just a quick video to help you understand that many of the things you cannot understand are coming from this deeper part of the conscious. This is from the subconscious and unconscious, and people do it without even recognizing, and you cannot understand each other unless you change within and you are able to feel these two very different people within yourself. See you in my next video.